appropriate. I don't know about this Grogu guy, but that was the that was a new track by Grogu.
Yeah,
So
people wanted to know what his voice sounded like. That's it.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
I
Turns out
don't
his
know.
first words are some sick beats, JJ. Who knew?
Yeah. Bespin, like, he went at me like I was a SoundCloud rapper this week, and he was just like, you dropped one Mando song and it's a redo of your Andor song, like what's going on? He was like calling, into
Come
my
on,
integrity.
content creator.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
content
He
creator.
was, I think he was probably leaving bad messages about fandom on message boards and stuff like that. And then so I go and I make the song and I throw it to him. I'm like, hey, here, you make the video. And he's like, sorry, I'm busy. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch.
He tricked you.
I mean, not that he agreed to do it, but I was like, okay, man. So then I did it, and then yeah.
People love signing up artists for work. You know what I mean? Why don't you
do.
go and they always go, Rob, why don't you make a whole graphic novel? No. I'm like, why don't you just spend 300,000 hours of your fucking life sitting there for someone to look at it and then go, I don't like the art. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
it's not fucking worth it.
Me and you, we won't talk about it, but we talked about doing something, and I wrote on some of that this weekend, and I'm gonna give that to you today. But let's get into the article that I wrote.
Okay, let's do it. Let's actually talk about Star Wars for once.
Let's try that. So this is on MakingStarWars.net, which is my website. Rumors: Ezra Bridger is the Force Karate Kid in Star Wars Ahsoka and Sabine's weapon of choice. So these are spoilers from Star Wars Ahsoka, and this stuff is the stuff in this article has been now triple confirmed. So here we go. I have heard about a sequence in Star Wars Ahsoka where Ezra uses the Force in a way compared to Luke Skywalker shattering the Beehive hut on Ahch-To when he catches Rey Force Skyping with her evil space boyfriend. However, the difference is one source saying and others confirming Ezra Hadoukens with the Force. Those conversations with sources on the next Star Wars live-action series gave way to a lot of interesting preliminary details about the series you might find interesting if you're a Rebels fan. On the flip side, each time I hear about a scene or sequence with Sabine Wren in live-action sequences from Star Wars Ahsoka, it seems to have a common weapon, a green lightsaber. There is a sensible yet somewhat unexpected angle to her fighting style in the series because of the weapon she inherited from her missing friend Ezra Bridger. This show builds on what came before in a logical way because the anime shows, I meant to write the animation typo. The animation shows do matter when they're minded for live action, when they're mind for live action content. Sabine was trained to wield the Darksaber in Star Wars Rebels by the Jedi Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger. At the end of Star Wars Rebels, Ezra leaves the weapon with Sabine Wren. Ezra then goes missing after the Purgles drag Thrawn's fleet to lightspeed. In the years that follow, Sabine Wren carries the weapon with her and uses it when she needs a melee weapon. Ezra Bridger, on the other hand, has been in a strange land for years without his lightsaber. And I think I know where he is, by the way, but not today. Apparently, a Kyber crystal has not called out to him in all that time because he has developed his own martial arts-based force powers, not unlike Teräs Käsi, but I'm assuming it's his own style. This martial arts style, coupled with his connection to animals, makes him an interesting take on a force user on screen as he uses his hands, feet, and the Force and nature to beat up undead stormtroopers. There are sequences with Sabine using the lightsaber with Ezra Bridger. It's not clear if Ezra gets another laser sword at some point or just finally takes his lightsaber back from her, but she's usually using it from what I'm hearing in the main conflicts. It sounds like he's become adept at fighting without one, and she's become adept at fighting with one. So it makes sense for her to use the lightsaber until he can get another. It isn't clear if he gets a new saber in the series, but this is Star Wars, so I assume he does. To reiterate from the reactionary types who get overly emotional at any bit of news, I'm not saying Ezra never gets or uses his own lightsaber, just that most of the scenes I have heard about so far have Ezra doing force karate while Sabine swings the lightsaber around. The series has more lightsaber fighting than probably anything we have seen on Disney Plus so far, and the word is the lightsaber fighting is pretty good. We will have sequences with Balon, Shin. They have red. I need to correct this. Have red lightsabers. Morgan Elsbeth and the witches standing off against Ahsoka with her two white lightsabers. Sabine with the green saber, and Ezra doing force karate. It sounds like fun stuff. The show also has some other interesting villains in store as well. But after Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think we have to see the fights for ourselves before we can really say if they work or not. More to come soon. Check back soon. As I get more double and triple confirmations on certain details, I will report what I have heard on Star Wars Ahsoka. I have some juicy information still in the verification stages, but with high confidence, I believe will pan out. And then I say, I'd like to hear from you. You could become a channel member by clicking on this link on YouTube. You can become a Patreon supporter if you prefer that. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast right here. You could subscribe to the podcast by clicking that link and going to the subscription page. And please don't repost my articles to Reddit with just the, certain words cut out as if that is not just copying the article, because that sucks when you guys do that. Thank you. So, yeah. So
fuck those Reddits, right?
I mean, right? I don't know. I don't know what of it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Their behavior is strange over there. But
you're being kind.
Yeah.
I say they're full of shit.
Yeah. Baby Yoda says they full of shit. That's what he says. Quote, they full of shit.
They full of shit. They full of shit is Reddit. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, yeah, so we basically have this like kid who's, I don't know, good 16 years old out there in the wilderness, and was training to become a Jedi, gets force zap zoomed away into a new land, and then what do we end? And then he can't use his lightsaber, so he has to develop this different sort of fighting styles. So I think that could be fun. I think that could be cool, because like I liked what they did in Rogue One, where we have like kind of like the blind martial artist like archetype in use, right? But he has the force, but not really. It's like kind of like force enhanced, but we don't really get to actually see that come out like to fruition and fully. And so I think that could be fun. And then obviously a Mandalorian using a lightsaber is going to make kids happy, I think so. So I think that
not for nothing, Jason. I wrote this Star Wars fan script in 1998, and I went straight down the Tarascasi path with it. I wanted no Force users, but I had a buddy who was going to do the animation. Like I took his word for it, so I had to like work with him on things he wanted to do. So like the Tarascasi path and the followers of Palawa, right, in the Epicanthics region was. I know that stuff pretty well, Jason.
Yeah.
And I ended up, I mean, I'll go over it sometime. I don't want to go into, I came up with this and that, but like it is, I'll say this, it's cool. It's cool shit. It's whether you think the game was executed well or not is pointless. It's cool stuff,
Yeah. I mean, and the game, was what, 1997?
Well, we all wanted Kung Fu Star Wars as far back as Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. I mean, like that's where I was like, that just made total sense for me, because I'm like, they glow like lightsabers and shit,
Yeah. It does. It did kind of occur to me when I was hearing this stuff like up front that we're kind of in a weird way. It's like it almost feels like either just it's probably parallel thinking. You know how like we had like that time where in Star Wars evil robots were like a thing, like K2SO, I'm an evil protagonist robot kind of thing. Like I'm not your dad's C3PO, like that kind of thing kind of happens. And then it happens like all over Star Wars. Like everybody's messing with that concept all of a sudden because it's on everybody's brain. I feel like this next year is going to kind of be the martial arts year of Star Wars between Star Wars Acolyte and this. But I do think that they're going two different ways with it.
And to be fair, that's one of I stand by it. Ray Park's use of wushu the Phantom Menace Obi-Wan fight is where you first see it on screen, in my opinion, and it's brilliant. You know, like that fight is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Dell says, like the video, maybe Jason will let you talk. Ha ha ha. And Santa says, like the video. So like the video, you weirdos. But thank you guys for telling people to like the video, because it
Jason
supposedly
never lets me
helps.
talk.
I don't know. Nothing ever changes. You know, we get our we get our.
I like
our,
how Roku goes, there's 400 in here and 11 likes. God damn it! Like the video.
Yeah.
Poor Roku.
I like when he's like, we're not coming unless you guys pay us a bunch of money. I should start doing that. We need $300 in here, or I'm not showing up. Dell says, I was going to say something about that too. And then he says, if you're here to steal Jason's secrets, they're no longer secrets. That's true. Chris says, could look visually awesome if done right. Yeah, and that's something that, like, I have reservations about rushing to say, like, guys, it's gonna look fucking cool. Like, I don't, because when you took things from Kenobi that most people were mad about, I think were a very common complaint, when you took it by itself, just what they filmed at that moment, everybody thought that was going to be really cool, and it wasn't until they edited it all together that it wasn't. Especially that first fight.
But Filoni's in charge of this, and the dude does have a good eye for the visuals. You know,
he does, and
I mean,
he's
that fight between Ahsoka and I don't know, whatever her name is, Graham Pertal. She was got these weird names.
Ventress?
No, the fight when the Mando season 2.
Mando. Morgan Elsbeth.
Morgan Elsbeth, yeah.
Who, by the way,
so
is
like
huge. Go watch that episode, you guys. Again, just gonna tell you, I'm gonna say it one more time. Go watch that episode again and take notes. Take notes. It's important. It's bigger
but
than
the
it seems.
staging of it, you know what I mean, the fight, it was all really good, dude. And it wasn't over the top. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they had to like hot shot the fight and do some crazy shit. Like it was just really well staged.
Yeah,
you know, well put together. Tension was great.
Well, and Filoni
Visuals
also
awesome.
Shot a ton of lightsaber battles in CGI over the course of the Clone Wars. Some of them aren't that good. Some of them are just like jumping around and it's not very impressive. And then
I've seen
then
those.
Yeah, I know, because you only pay attention to the bad shit because you won't watch the good shit because you're stubborn. But but there's actually a couple of duels in there that are really, really fucking good. Like movie quality. They do end up stepping up and they become more than just, Robin and Batman going do off of walls and shit. And
why has Rob got to be used as a negative?
What Robin? Batman and Robin.
Oh,
Batman and Robin, they just kind of jump off shit and you're just like, oh look, they're doing superhero shit. Like that cuts out kind of early on in the Clone Wars, and then it gets more into actual like battles and moves and stuff. And it's not exactly like Nick Gillard is there. They should really, I don't know if it's Gillard or Gillard, but they should really just get Nick Gillard back. I think it's like
he's too busy drinking.
Hey, that's
at
fair.
The pub.
But I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he's retired at this point or whatever, but they really should. I mean, they really should move his ass to LA and have him like as a full-time person on all of these shows as a consultant. And if not the coordinator, if he's not the coordinator, then let him be a consultant all the time.
Jason,
like it's ridiculous.
You know who should hire Nick Gillard is the Ted Lasso crew.
Your bald-headed crew.
Crew.
The Ted Lasso crew. Why is
that? I saw the new episode of Ted Lasso because they're totally invoking Star Wars this season. Did you see like the bad guy's office, the lead, Rupert, Anthony Heed. Yeah, he's got. Well, they said it last season that they were templating the series after Star Wars in some ways, and on this season, the main bad guy, he has an office and he has the Emperor's like the Death Star circular, motif. He's got the throne room like set up in his office. It's great.
Yeah. I hate Nate. I hate Nate. I've known so many Nates.
Not like him.
I've met more Nates in Star Wars over my time doing this than anywhere in my life. Star Wars is infested with Nates. Not even kidding. It's
Ted
true.
Lasso has a clearer villain right now than Mando season 4, by far.
Yeah.
By far.
Well, no, you're blocking. You're going, this is a new season. It's a reset, and it's not. They think the villain is in prison, and they think that there's a false sense of security going on. That's the point. and that's not going to last.
They're not making it very clear.
Well, I mean, you end the last season of the show with him getting arrested. Then we have that talk where people are like, "Oh, yeah, I hear he's in jail. I heard he got out," and they're like, "What?" You know, there's like a whole thing like, so we're not really supposed to know what's going on, but people are out there eating fucking popsicles while that guy is clearly like getting ready to.
They are eating popsicles.
They are eating popsicles, but I mean, that's like I think if you follow Star Wars and you get mad about the false sense of security, you literally can't follow Star Wars. Because
I'm not mad. I'm just saying.
No, I don't mean you. I don't mean you. I'm addressing like a general discourse right now, especially with the really dumb people. I mean, there's a lot of dummies.
I am really dumb though.
That's fair.
I'll admit to that.
I'm not going to fight you on that, Rob. But what I'm saying is like they didn't. Star Wars didn't put two assholes out on a terrace eating popsicles because that's Star Wars now. Like that's
could be parallel thinking, though. Maybe no. Ahsoka's doing it and Acolyte. They're all got the popsicles.
I would not mind watching Ahsoka eat a popsicle at all.
You could marry Winstead. Can she eat the popsicle?
If she eats a popsicle, I'm writing a song about it for sure. But
lucky bastard, I don't lucky bastard.
Yeah. Anyways, no, but that's the whole thing is we continually have to have like it's in a weird way. Star Wars almost becomes collectively anarchist in the sense that you can't ever have an effective government. You can't ever have an effective body of body politics, so to speak, because it's going to literally have to erode and collapse into a war every single time. Because it's called Star Wars. It's like literally like the point of it. And without that false sense of security, you don't really get. So I'm not saying you can't stand to give. You're not saying you can't have a sneak attack. You can have a sneak attack.
They could stand to, okay. They could stand to give the New Republic a period of peace. Like give it a 500 years or so. I don't know. Give it a while. Like give it.
This is Star Wars, not 500 years of peace. What is it? 500 years of peace? No. You give Star Wars. You give them like right now they got. Right now they got like 5 years, right? We're like 5 or 6 years out, and like they're they're quote struggling, but they're making it happen. But the thing about it is it's all a lie because we have the knowledge that it doesn't matter if you like the movie or not, that there's a Sith Lord who's skin and bones out on another place.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie.
It doesn't matter.
Shocking. Rob didn't like it.
Yeah, you don't have to like the movie though to go like, okay, that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like that informs the climate of the film or of the series. And so how if that is Gideon attacking, blows up. I can never fucking remember Bo-Katan's name on the show for some reason, but Bo-Katan fucking like her house like it's blown up by those people, and like they're like that's a lot for a warlord. And it's like, well, like, what does that mean? That clearly means something.
Yeah, what does it mean, Jason?
Well, yeah, it means that, but juxtapose that with what's going on Coruscant. Bo-Katan's house was just blown up by a fucking squadron of TIE fighters, TIE interceptors. And then these motherfuckers are going like, everything's cool. Come touch the rock. You know what I mean? Eat popsicles and let's not fight anymore. Like they're trying to go to post-war America, but they haven't won World War II. They kind of just won the battle. One of the battles.
Show's not really making the case right now, but it's not bad. It's just
I mean,
just saying clearer villain in Ted Lasso. They could take some lessons. They could write some notes down.
See, but that's the thing.
First episode, they don't wait they don't wait 4 hours
Rob,
to get to it.
I have to fundamentally disagree with you on here because what we have Din who's going to complete the quest. That's what he did. That was the purpose of like 2 episodes. Is him going and actually like shutting down that thing right there. And then you're gonna have the fucking big ending with the villain. The villain's coming. All of that's going to happen. It's just
they're accomplishing what they set out to do. I'm just saying I just don't know if it's been the most captivating,
Okay, well you could say that, but who the villain is clear. I think what they're doing is clear. I've watched Mandalorian season 2.
You straight hate Nate. Do you really hate Gideon? You don't really hate him. They haven't really made you hate him.
No. You're making a side argument now. Is Gideon the best written effective villain? No, he's not. I completely
That's what I said. They could
agree.
take some villain notes from Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I was just saying.
Yeah, but when we talk about like the clarity of who the villain is, that's literally the point at this moment in this narrative, because the whole thing is it's about a false sense of security, because all of this stuff right here is going to come like we're come to a head when we have Gideon who's out there and we're like, oh, that's not good. But then remember that the next series is going to be Thrawn. It's gonna culminate with Thrawn showing up.
Yeah, you just hang around 18 episodes. We'll eventually get to it. No problem.
Yeah. Or we're being a rush to get somewhere. I mean, like
These
I
take
watch.
years, Jason. I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah.
no, I mean, I see everybody gushing about anime and stuff, and then I fucking watch anime and it's fucking 3 seasons on a battle. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you're watching, but Full Metal Alchemist gets to it pretty fast.
No, whatever, nerd. What I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd.
no, but
I eat at Fuddruckers, Jason. I'm a nerd.
The actual like thing that I'm critical of right now, the of all of the fucking crybaby shit that I hear constantly in the Star Wars fandom, the actual thing that I think is the most thing that what we should be criticizing and what is easy to criticize and it deserves it is we're about to go and we're gonna have Mandalorian season 3 culminate with this battle with Gideon. Shit's getting bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to move on to Star Wars Ahsoka, and we're going to have like, oh, fuck, Thrawn is back. And it's going to be like a really big, oh, shit moment. There's a huge, oh, shit moment I'll talk about soon. I just need to get more confirmation on it. And then we have Skeleton Crew, which is slightly a detour, but still is connected. Okay. And then you know what we have because of the planning of the thing, unless there's another series we don't know about, got like 2 years until that picks up after that.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm like, yeah. I really could probably do with these shows maybe going like, these Mando stories being spaced out 6 months apart. You know what I mean? Like every 6 months.
Or putting the whole thing together into one complete 18 episode season or something,
Well, I mean, no, I'm okay with there being a large fucking spanning fucking epic like story that takes place over several series. I just don't like having to wait fucking 2 years to pick up on the plot thread.
Buffy season 2, it took another 2 years to get to the end of Buffy season 2. Right?
Yeah, and this isn't even like I don't even think this is about getting like necessarily like to the ending. It's about the exploration of the era, and I'm cool with that. But like then we have like Ahsoka. We have Andor, and before that we have Acolyte, and both of those are just like these like side things that have nothing to do with that story. And so I would rather like those series be dispersed in between. But Shogun Orda, thank you for the super chat, bud. I appreciate it. $10 super chat from Shogun. Says, for me, Mando right now and even Andor was good / okay, but it was all ketchup, but no meal story. Ketchup is great, but without meal, it's kind of weird. But that's just me. That's fair. Right. No, that's a fair analogy of of where you're. How you're feeling about it. But I think, and I could be wrong, like at the end of the day, I might be totally wrong, but I think that this season has been less like 2 guys walk into a bar and therefore storytelling and then storytelling, as opposed to this is more of like the getting into a bigger macro story. So this is like these first 4 episodes are really the first time they've given us exposition that's setting up a ton of other things, and we're a little impatient, I think, week to week when we have to deal with it. Like that last episode, I think week to week on the its first airing, it's like, oh my god, what are you doing? Come on, I want to get like to the good stuff. But I think that when we have like the whole season, I think it will be elevated slightly. And it will be, just like Frog Lady last year. Remember Frog Lady? People lost their shit about Frog Lady. Now it's like, okay, Frog Lady's fine, And I think it's kind of like that. This is different though, in the sense that this is setting up an actual like Empire attacking the New Republic, what the New Republic is doing that allows the First Order to kind of brew out there and seem like the lesser of three evils, if that makes sense. I think that's what's happening, and it might be worth it. It might not, though, and obviously at the end of the day, everybody has their own personal relationship with Star Wars and what works for them and what doesn't. But when I hear what I'm hearing about where it's going, it makes me excited. The ideas aren't bad. Is the execution going to be bad? I think Rob's going to say yes, but and probably Shogun. But at the same time, we'll have to see like when this season is done if this felt like.
I don't know, man. Like I know everyone goes, "Oh, Rob hates everything." That's not true. Go back and watch Book of Boba Fett, man. You get to episode 2, I'm fucking ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Episode 2, not the Mando episode. Episode 2. You know, even on the episodes I didn't much like stuff, I would go,
that's the one where he goes naked with the Tuscans, correct?
Yeah, it's got the train sequence and the conductor and shit, you know, which I stand by. It's fucking brilliant. And
yeah, because it's like Avatar.
And even the Haka dance and shit. Yeah. Hey, by the way, so someone goes in the comments yesterday. They go, "This guy likes Avatar. His opinions don't count." I'm like, Filoni fucking loves Avatar, you nitwits. Oh. Filoni, like you fucking morons.
Well, Filoni's gone woke, so he's gone broke.
Yeah. The guy who put space whales in Star Wars loves fucking Avatar. Shocking, I know. Mm-hmm. So like,
Filoni did it first. Cameron, get your own ideas.
No, he didn't do it first. No, he didn't
Filoni
do it first.
Filoni did it
Fantasia
first.
2000 did it first.
Filoni
Whales
did it
in
first.
Space. No,
actually, no. There was a movie we identified it on the show already that I think they got it from. It's like literally like the same thing.
Fantasia 2000.
It wasn't Fantasia 2000. It was a different one.
It was
like Titan AE. Is that what it was? Somebody in the chat may know.
I don't know. It was Fantasia 2000.
No, but it's not Fantasia 2000. That's not where he got it from. He got it from a different show. And like we identified it. I've heard him talk about the show, so I know it was that one. But anyways, go on.
Yeah. Titan AE had stingrays in space. It wasn't whales.
Yeah. It was like the same, you know.
They were space angels, you know, like Anakin with his, you know.
Are you an angel? Or the deep space pirates talk about them? That one kid. Yeah. Shogun Order says, I'll redact it a bit. There is story, but it's just not enough for some people. And I guess I'm in that camp, but glad other people do like it, love it. Well, that's kind of the thing is this I think the difference for you maybe, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but I think the difference is there's a little bit of telling instead of showing with the story. And they decided to just put all of the High Republic stuff, which was probably outlined for Rangers of the New Republic. I think all of that was going to be climate to that series. Kathleen Kennedy said it was going to be assimilated by this show. So I think instead of Rangers of the New Republic being the one that kind of like led us on to what's going on, I think they took all of their ideas, the big bold ones, put it into this arc with Pershing, and just said, okay, now it's in the narrative, we can move forward. And you know, there was all of the other stuff. I think that I shouldn't say all. I don't really know the totality of Rangers. I don't even know if they actually even wrote a draft. But there's a lot of rumors out there about what that show was and what it wasn't. I had only ever heard that Cobb Vanth was like the protagonist or the main protagonist or a main protagonist. And then Star Wars Mag had an interview with the Carson Teva actor who went on to say, like, I was never in it. They never approached me about being in it. And basically it seemed to imply that Gina Carano wasn't even really in it. And if you remember when the Gina Carano stuff came out, so did a bunch of other fake stuff with that information. So that might be true, but it's also sort of like in the, I don't know, territory. And on top of and I think Rangers of the New Republic got the association, therefore it was easy just to squash it. I think if it ever does pop back up, they just rename it. That way it loses the association. And then the fact that it didn't have to do with that much to do with Gina Carano.
I'm looking forward to her new show, Rangers of the Daily Wire.
Right? Oh shit. But I would have to think that I would have to think
I swear I'll touch your penis, right? That's the first episode, right?
No, it's not. No, she's not promising it. It's I hope she touches my penis.
I
I'll
hope. Sorry. My
yeah,
bad.
I'll say
My
whatever
bad.
she needs me to say in the hope that maybe one day
One day she'll find me attractive.
she'll be so desperate
Nitwits.
she would touch me. But yeah.
That's how I
So
feel about sliced noodles. Like, just keep being nice to her. Hopefully one day she'll give me some
well,
of them lips.
I think that's what was gonna. I think when you get down to it, that show was gonna come out in between all of these shows. This show, and it probably is why we did get Skeleton Crew, probably fast tracked when we did. But like Bespin and I, we've heard about like the crews just going through a terrible time with some asshole people involved with the production, being overworked like back to back to back, not in a good way. And then it's like all to get these shows out really close together and then have a huge gap. Don't really understand that. And I think that that is the fair thing to critique modern Lucasfilm on, because we're basically going to have next year with we're going to start with Skeleton Crew, which kind of starts it, but not really. And then we go
These
on.
pirates got me worried about that Skeleton Crew, Jason. Just letting you know.
Remember,
I was excited about Skeleton Crew. Remember, I'm a big John
yeah.
Watts fan, but you know what I mean? Like,
the crew's not. But we're gonna
I know.
we're gonna yeah, but also like remember like the tone of the show. It's got a little fat elephant kid in it. Like it is like Goonies. It's and like we might remember. I watch Goonies a lot with my kids. I have Goonies on pretty often lately, and it's like the people in Goonies are scary, but they're also not like the Godfather Mafia. You know what I mean? And I'm not sure if it's going to be how corny it's going to be. But we've heard
where
camp.
Goonies falls apart. I love Goonies, but Goonies does fall apart when they're on the pirate ship with the Fratellis at the end. Because the Fratellis in the beginning of the movie, like, you feel they'll kill those kids, no problem. The Fratellis at the end of the movie, where they're like playing jump rope with Sloth, on the pirate ship, is ridiculous.
But that's so but it's like a reward for children at that point. It's like the children have overcome. They've been tested. They've overcome the trials. Now they can contend with the villain. Like that's sort of like that Hollywood logic, that story logic.
I'm aware.
And
I
as a
watch
child,
Monster Squad, I get it.
No, and as a child, like we can't forget how successful the ending was for us.
So you have no problem if I just stop watching this after an episode because I'm like, it's for kids. It's not for Rob,
if you don't like it, it's not for you. You don't have to watch it,
Because they keep saying shit's for kids, and then I watch Toy Story 3. I'm like, that's for kids, and they almost incinerate all them fucking toys, dude. They hold hands, they're about to go to their fiery death. I'm like, that shit's for kids too. So it just depends on what kind of for kids we're talking about here,
Yeah. I mean, well, it also like the whole "it's for kids" thing has it can be a defense mechanism to protect your religion of Star Wars. That happens.
For kids.
That happens.
Hey, brownies.
But also like for instance, there's that new that new show that's coming out in a few weeks. That young Jedi show. It's like a hybrid pulp.
Oh, the
yeah, that fucking offends me because I was 3 years old when I got hooked on Star Wars. That show's made for fucking 3-year-olds, and it has a fucking blue teddy bear in it. And
hey, man, I'm with you on this. Like, it's like when I hear studios go, "Hey, you have to have Robin in to appeal to kids." I'm like, no, Batman appeals to the kids. Kids want to be Batman.
Robin is just a thing that lets us know Batman would accept us.
But it's not necessary. Kids always just like Batman. I was the only one who would be Robin because my name was Rob. Like I always thought it was kind of cool. But I didn't think Robin was cool until he got green pants when Neil Adams redesigned the costume in the 90s, right? Yeah. He got the green pants. When he had the green underwear, it wasn't so cool.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to be that kid. But when he got the green pants, then I'm like, all right, I can be Robin now. It's got a big R on there. That's me. But this is ridiculous, dude. And this whole, like, it's aimed at kids. Just remember, hey, man, here's my whole thing with this. they are trying, Disney itself, right? Lucasfilm. They
Mhm.
want to compete with in the streaming wars, right? Like that for the highest rated shit on TV. The highest streamed television shows, the highest rated gets all the views, ain't kid shows. They're
Yeah.
just not. So
Mhm.
like if you think that audience out there is going to get you 19 million views, no, The Last of Us. I don't like Last of Us ain't my fucking thing. But you can't deny its audience is giant.
Mhm.
So like and it has a kid in it. But playing to kids ain't gonna get you the numbers you want and the subscribers you want.
Yeah.
It's just not. People don't like paying for kids'
No.
content. They want that shit dirt cheap.
No, and that's like the other side of that kind of risk or whatever. Like Goonies did well, but it wasn't like the biggest movie, when it came out. Monster
No,
Squad was a failure. Like the actual
total
Explorers was a
failure. Yeah,
failure. Like the
total
movies
failure.
that go in that thing that were good weren't highly successful. So therefore, what I think that they're making with this one, if it connects and if it's good, is it might be one that's like, okay, it did okay, it did all right, but it's one that also doesn't go away, that people continue to watch over the years, because that's what those movies were. Like, you can say what you want about Explorers, but at the same time, I'm fucking 43 and I'm still talking about it. I still remember it. Like, it
You
was
like
good.
Temple of Doom?
Love it.
That's not what you said a year ago.
No, no, no.
You have changed your opinion, buddy.
I have never said, dude, I like Crystal Skull. I'm saying Temple of Doom isn't the best Indiana Jones movie. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull are both bad movies in very similar ways at times.
Right. So if you're trying to compete with getting Star Wars money and you produce Temple of Doom or Crystal Skull, well, you get what you get back.
Right. And
You
then
get what you
Crystal
get
Skull
back.
made a fuck ton of money. That's just to be clear. But yeah,
But
yeah,
taking
I'm with
kids
you.
to the theater is different than streaming. Like the
Mhm.
streaming shows, the fact of the matter is, man, like the numbers for streaming shows, even the Marvel shit doesn't do as well as HBO content. Like
Mhm.
it just
Yeah,
doesn't
they
do those
don't.
numbers, and
They
they
don't have the
want those
audience.
numbers,
Well,
but
they
they
don't. They
want
can't.
that.
Of course, they want it, but they can't. It's
Right.
it's literally impossible with their subscriber numbers at this time. You know, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see.
Peacock has less subscriber numbers, or
Mhm.
Paramount Plus, and then they break through with the Star Trek stuff. I'm just saying, man, like their idea of trying to pander down, I think pandering to putting more kid stuff, or kid friendly stuff makes more sense in the movies. But on the streaming thing, I think they're misguided on their audience base.
Well, I don't know if we should. I don't know how far we lean into that, because we're like almost acting like Jude Law is not like the main protagonist of the series.
I'm
It's
basing off the last. We got a Andor's more adult oriented, great. And
it's
I'm
no
telling you, man, if
Andor
Andor had a
is
fucking
completely
lightsaber,
adult
right? But if
oriented.
Andor had
Yeah.
a lightsaber in it, most of these people would shut up about their complaints about Andor. That's just
Well,
I that's a separate topic.
my kids aren't
But
complaining about
Kenobi and
Andor.
Boba Fett are aimed toward
Mhm.
towards kids 100%.
Yeah,
Like that
my
100%.
kids
And I think that
dug
that's
it.
misguided because they should have been geared towards the people who were kids when the prequels came out but grew up. Because that's what they were going for. I mean, they literally have shots of Attack of the Clones in Boba Fett, and then
See,
Kenobi's entirely prequels.
here's their fucking thinking. I think they already had them. They don't need to gear it towards them. They already got them.
No.
So when they take that audience for granted, sometimes they actually do, and then they
They
move
do.
from there, and then they like try to move it into somewhere else and to get more out of it. And but like I said, my kids aren't complaining about Andor. They just can't keep their eyes on it for 20 minutes is the problem with
But
it,
they're
because
not
it's
supposed
too
to.
adult.
It wasn't made for them.
It
Yeah.
wasn't made for them. Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's but it the pendulum swings both ways. And it's like, when the actual success of Star Wars is going to be when it's in the middle, when that pendulum is right in the middle. And but the thing about it is, it depends on how much we move into a child protagonist in Skeleton Crew. I don't know how deep it goes, because it might be like Jude Law and then these four kids that are like, characters, and they're like, oh, there they go, you know what I mean, and doing their like shit, and then maybe they'll have little character
I'm
focus
basing it.
moments. But I've
entirely on those pirates, you know? Like,
yeah, but you can't do that. That would be like basing all of Mando entirely on those pirates. You know what I mean?
I'm basing a lot of it right now because I've seen all the footage that coming out, a lot of pirate footage. I don't know, man.
Well, yeah,
Salad the Hut ain't gonna be a win for Star
Mhm.
Wars in the long run.
So I like them. I like them. I'm on board.
I know you do.
But I can't talk about it because I told a source that I wouldn't talk about it. But there was more Salad the Hut style stuff early on in the show that they took out. They aren't they're cognizant of what that means and how that plays. Is all I could say right now. But Nolan says Star Wars generally is aimed at all ages, but most importantly, the kid at heart. I do think you should look at Star Wars through a.
I don't think.
I don't think you should look at Star Wars through a highbrow lens. And yeah, that's my thing is I think that the best Star Wars though looks at the world through the lens of the protagonist and where they're at in their life. But when it becomes offensive, like this episode is talking about Ezra Bridger and his kung fu powers, right? In Star Wars Rebels, sometimes I don't think they remember what it was like to be a teenager because that depiction of a teenager is fucking insane in Rebels. Like that is not, oh no, you know, it's just, it's fucking wacky because it was Disney XD. The storytelling in Star Wars Rebels is some of the best storytelling in all of Star Wars ever. But there are I have this experiment I could do in my head, and you could do it at home if you want to ruin it for yourself. Imagine a laugh track. And then notice when you can't imagine a laugh track when you watch Rebels. It's true. And it's like, fuck. When you can't imagine a laugh track is when the show's working. When you can is when it's not. And I love Rebels, but I'm here to share my opinions, and that's my opinion of it. And I know like a lot of people love it. I'm not trying to ruin it for them, but sometimes we can look at things not as critically as we mean to. And but the thing about it is like A New Hope is looked at through the lens of Luke Skywalker as like a 19-year-old, 18-year-old like young man. And it's good. It has good spirit. It's in the right tone. And so I think though that skeleton crew is gonna be Jude Law, and we're gonna see it through his perspective. And I think that's where the adults are going to connect with it. I think that's going to be our way into Goonies. It's like we've heard he's like the Brad character in Goonies, but remember Brad's still a kid himself in Goonies. He's the one who's hit puberty basically, but he's still a kid, And Jude Law is clearly not Brad in that way.
Look,
he's an adult.
No fictional characters had more crazy iterations than Batman.
Yeah.
And does Batman work best when it's all fucking violent and dark and brooding? No. Does it work best when it's slapstick comedy? No. And I say the same thing for Star Wars. When you get into slapstick, like Paley Moto or in Revenge of the Sith, when you got droids slipping around in oil for 3 minutes and we got to sit and watch this shit, that ain't good Star Wars. Cut that out. That's not good Star Wars. Nope. Like
Chewbacca and the mouse droid. My whole thing is
that's different.
I do think it can be a mistake when it lingers, when it's not like when you cross through the eccentricities. I think that's when it's the most effective. When it lingers and they make the same joke 3 times just to make certain you got it. You got the joke. We told the joke. Did you get the joke? Did you see the oil? Did you see him slipping around? Right.
Look, now he's still slipping around. Ha ha ha. That's not funny.
Right.
It's not good. It's not good. Forget Star Wars. It's just not good. It's not good stuff. It's lowbrow, bottom barrel, goofy, corny shit, And it doesn't do you any favors. Doesn't do you any favors.
Oh, look who
hoping for less of that. I think Filoni's the least likely to do that stuff, to be honest with you, And it may be simply because the guy went through creating a bunch of, he's done a little bit of everything, you know what I mean? Like kind of knows what does and doesn't work. So all he has to do is get performances. As long as those performances are there, I think Ahsoka's might be like the best of the all around stuff that Star Wars, all around Star Wars, where it's got Force stuff. It's got maybe some drama and an interesting villain. But that Thrawn comes in and makes Gideon look like a real little bitch, then I'm telling you, it's gonna make rewatching any Mando. When you go, oh wow, they just made this villain a little punk bitch, it makes it very difficult to go back and rewatch it. You know, like
yeah, and I'm not saying that he does.
okay,
But he
just
thinks he
clarifying
is.
that.
He thinks he is. And so like this is conjecture on my part, but I wouldn't be surprised if in actuality it's quite the opposite. But maybe it's why Gideon is trying to utilize the Mandalorians like as a weapon because he knows that this is other fool gunning for him. What's up, Mr. Bulletin?
What's up, guys? I didn't know you were going live, so it was a surprise. I welcome them, but yeah,
yeah,
it's great for me.
I thought I was going to go on. Sorry, go on.
I said it's great timing for me. It's almost like 6 o'clock, so it's not a late one.
Yeah. Today I was going to go on Santa's show, or I thought we were going to do a show, but it turned out we weren't. So I called up a source, got some confirmations, and I was like, "There we go. Let's get the article out and do a show because I got some more confirmation. Basically, the stuff that is in the article. I don't know if you got to read the article yet, but it's basically the stuff that I told you about. You know that I've been hearing." And then the part that kind of brought it all together is the Hadouken. He does some Hadoukens.
That's funny to me. Like I really hope it is in the style of a Hadouken, because I'm not going to take it seriously. I'm going to have a way all the time.
I'm not. When I heard it, for the record, I didn't think we were like gonna see like a force lightning fucking like thunderbolt coming out of his hands, like he's doing force pushes and he's doing martial arts stuff that's coupled with the force. So it's sort of like, you know, if you imagine Bruce Lee being able to force push, and maybe I actually asked, but I just got laughed. Like kind of just laughed, but you know, remember how there's that fucking joke that Luke Skywalker does the force kick in Return of the Jedi because it's really just a bad stunt where he kicks and it doesn't even come close to the guy's face. And modern times we could see it clearly; it doesn't connect. Stuff like he's gonna do some force kicks. There's gonna be some force kicks in there. So
see, I was hoping it was so extreme that it wouldn't be a Hadouken; it would be a Kamehameha from Dragon Ball Z. That's what I was hoping for.
Right.
You know, all the Deku smash. You know? That's what I want.
He should start charging up in episode 1, and then in episode 19, then he can unleash his. Smart. Yeah. Santa would say that's just good TV. You know.
Yeah, we need a false spirit bomb. That's what we need. You know, and Dave Filoni's the man to deliver us that, I believe.
I kind of I kind of think that John Watts, to go back to the Skeleton Crew kind of stuff, I think his access to Favreau and Filoni is going to make sure that it, like, if for whatever reason the guy is off base with how he handles like the young people in that show, I think they will help. I think that they will like be like, we wouldn't do that. And then I think with the way that he handled the Spider-Man movies, which the kids are a little bit older, then that's like my only fear is that it like that John Watts gets what a high school student would do, but once you go down to middle school, he just is like fucking thinks they're.
But he did middle
babies.
School in Cop Car. Like,
okay,
that's the whole thing.
Then
like
then you don't have a lot to worry about. Then it sounds good, right? Because you like Cop Car a lot, correct?
Yeah, I do. I think it's really good. It's good, smaller film, but yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, so. I think I'm gonna watch Cop Car tonight.
Yeah, you should watch Cop Car.
Yeah, because like honestly, if at the end of the day the show's good, that's all that matters.
It's one of those movies that would have played endlessly like on Cinemax during the summer. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you would have talked about it like back.
You know what it reminds me of? Even though I haven't seen it and know nothing about it, it reminds me. I keep thinking of Hot Shots. Remember Hot Shots?
With Charlie Sheen?
No. Wait, Big Shots.
Big Shots. Yes, Big Shots.
It was like a spoiled white kid, I think, runs away and he goes to like Harlem, like New York, and he meets like a cool black kid, and like they both run away and they steal a car. Remember that? Yeah. And then like I used to rent that movie all the time. It doesn't hold up today. Yeah. I don't recommend anybody watch it. Probably
that was,
but that was
88.
88. Yeah,
probably saw it.
Yeah, it bombed in 88 and went right to video. So like it was like in theaters for a short time. so it went right to video. The video store gave me the poster. I had the poster in my room. I used to, they
With
knew.
the fedoras, the kids in the
Yeah, they were like
denim.
kind of like arms crossed, like some
Yeah.
shades on. I
I
was like,
remember
yeah,
that poster. It was that Video Library had it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so how's it going? How's it going, Mr. Bespin? You have any thoughts, that anything brewing in your brains that
About Skeleton Crew? Um,
or about the Ahsoka stuff from today, or anything, you know?
with Skeleton Crew, I'm thinking, given the simplest, the can you speak, the Simpsons influences, can we expect that in the series? Is that going to give us some sense of tone as well? As we know, like behind the scenes, everything is being referred to as Simpsons stuff. So
Yeah.
we know the ship, for example, has been referred to as the treehouse, you know,
Mhm.
because of the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Characters have code names like the Simpsons wherever. So I wonder how big of an influence that has. Obviously, Grammar Rodeo is from the Simpsons episode. It's the reference to the National Grammar Rodeo.
Right.
So I wonder if that could be an influence into the tone of the series. I
Right.
don't know if you've ever told Rob who I heard was going to be the voice of Gorian Shaw to begin with.
No. If you want, I don't know if you want to share that or not. So no, I haven't told anybody what you said.
Yeah, well, I'll just say it because this is a weird rumor that I
Mhm.
heard before. I
Yeah.
heard that Robert Downey Jr. was going to do the voice of Gorian Shaw at one point, or he was in talks to do it, or something.
Right.
I don't know if that was how far that went. I don't know if Skeleton Crew
Well,
turned him off, maybe, but
yeah, I remember some time ago you heard that, and then there was actually a little piece of evidence that popped out that it had that the rumor held water.
oh, the voice
And
actor, the guy who's from Ted Lasso, he
yeah,
said that shout out to Robert Downey Jr. You know why, bro, but didn't give
yeah,
any context to it.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, we coupled that with what I heard before. It's likely that's what that meant.
right.
So
Yeah, they saw Ted Lasso and took all the wrong lessons. You know, like
have you seen the new episode of Ted Lasso, Rob?
I have. Wait, episode 2 I haven't seen. I've seen episode 1.
Episode 1, yeah. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Because it didn't land for me as much as the other two seasons did.
Yeah, well, I mean, because everyone, yeah, I mean, they're broke, so it's like dealing with the aftermath of last season. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah.
they're in a
I'm
broke
enjoying
spot.
Shrinking.
Everyone
I don't
doesn't
know if
want
you've watched
them.
that.
Doesn't want people don't want it broke. They just want what they generally want with the TV series, man. Especially a funny one, is they just want them to do the funny, feel good stuff and move on. And this is trying to do a little bit of both, but so it's
Yeah,
subjective on that level, you know.
that was actually where I wasn't like super in love with it. It was giving a lot of times where it's just like, hey, remember that funny thing that this person does? And I was like, I already know the show because I just watched it, you know, because I just started it like, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. And so I was like, come on, let's just go. And then it's like sort of like it was a big reminder episode about, so I'm thinking that the real season's going to get going in the next episode.
Yeah, I
know?
think so. And I have every like ounce of confidence this season is going to be fantastic because the other
Yeah.
two have been, and also
Yeah.
Shrinking, which Brett Goldstein's been working on. That's great as well. I know me and you are having a good time watching that. So
Yeah. Yeah. And if you like Harrison Ford, definitely should watch it. But yeah, if you like Ted Lasso, like especially, I also like what's his name? Jason Segal. I like that guy.
mm,
In fact, I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I kind of wish this guy was the teacher in Skeleton Crew because he's
yeah,
good. He's good. He would have been good in that part. But
if you want to watch Harrison Ford talk about safe dick, watch Shrinking. That's
yeah,
that's the best commercial for that show. But
yeah,
yeah, if I was as the Ahsoka stuff you put out today, I think it's all fantastic. I think it's all exciting. It all
Mhm.
makes sense. Um, I can't wait to see Ezra just going to town on those undead stormtroopers over there.
yeah,
It's natural that he would have to build up some sort of fighting technique to combat the threats that are out there. He can't just be out there without a blaster or a lightsaber, just chilling. He needs to have developed because we don't know how many years he's been stranded out there at this point, right? Either.
yeah. Well, it's been. I mean, we're like 5 years. It's been like that show. What that does Rebels go up to like a year before A New Hope?
I think so.
I think it goes. I think it's about there, right? And
Mm.
then we see like, yeah, and then like because they get like the ships and stuff for the Rogue One sequence from season 3 or season 2, and then then so we have like a big 5 years between like A New Hope to Return of the Jedi part. Then we go like 5-6 years after. So he's been out there for like a decade.
Yeah, it's only natural that he would have found a new form that he would have mastered over there, and for Sabine to be, well, we saw her train with the darksaber anyway, right? So she would only have got better within that time frame. So I think it all makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And it's like on like some characters in Star Wars, like they pick up a lightsaber and they just use it because, you know, it's their destiny or something like that. And people start checkboxing stuff. Actually, she's overpowered. But in Star Wars Rebels, they actually did the work. Like they literally see her training with the darksaber and lightsabers and stuff like that. Like
that's what's, I was gonna say that's what's gonna be, right? When Ahsoka comes out, you're gonna have a lot of these people just saying Sabine's overpowered because they didn't bother to check out Rebels.
Yeah, probably.
I do think this is a structural issue with Mando season 4, though, with writing wise. Like, if you're going to devote 40 minutes of an episode to a second story, like it should have been Bo-Katan, like the short version of her life in live action.
But how does that explain the New Republic to us? That's what they have to get out there for all these other shows. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it solves the whole, like, it solves a lot of other issues, man. Forget the New Republic stuff. That you can do that as a B story. You just don't need to devote a solid wall of 40 to 50 minutes to it. I think that you could take that exact same stuff and have a B cut. I just think, like,
you say B cup
when you go through, when you go through Mandalore and you see all this wreckage and you see her doing all this shit, you just assume she's a badass. But it doesn't really show you. It just has her telling you, this wasn't this way, and I learned this. And it's like, yeah, we could have seen that. Especially since she's just sitting on that throne waiting for foot rubs, you know?
Yeah.
Go on, Bespin.
What I was going to say is, I agree with Rob. I don't think they should have given an entire episode, but they could have easily added flashback scenes, quick ones, to just her sitting on that throne. You know, she's there reminiscing about her life before, and you could cut to the Mandalorian, title screen. But they could have added something there for us. Yeah, well, not even for us, because we're all already familiar with her life, but to the viewers who've only coming through the Mandalorian.
See, I have a hunch that someone, maybe the story group, or maybe Filoni to Favreau or something like that, was like, you know what, like we could get at this through the people of the New Republic, and he was like, well, I wanted to do this, so I think that's what it was. This is all just my assumptions, of course, but I think that's why we have that line where Grief Karga is like, I don't want the New Republic here. I don't trust those people really far away to do anything competently. You know what I mean? I think that's like supposed to show us like what the average sort of like, spacefarer, I don't know what you call them, person is thinking about that New Republic idea. And they could have literally done this throughout Mando meeting people in other episodes who are saying the same kinds of things. And like really, and then we could have seen things like TIE fighters coming in and bombing Bo-Katan's house, and then them going like, New Republic is acting like everything's fine, and it's not. Like I think there was a better way to show than telling, which is what that episode does. But I think it has to more. I think they decided to go that way because they don't want to devote any more time to it other than getting the climate set up. Like, I hope there's not more of like, here we're setting up why it's this way. I think that was it. At least I hope so. Dave, thank you, Dave, says Mando season 3 is approximately 12 years after season 4 of Rebels. So nice. So there we go. So he's been out there for 12 years. Ezra Bridger. Well, it might be a little bit less. I'll have more on that. I have the timeline of Ahsoka ironed out a bit. I'll get into that pretty soon, and like lay out exactly when the show takes place and how and stuff. But yeah, it's about that time though. Close enough. I'm sure after the first 9 years, it all kind of runs together for the guy, right? It's probably not really that big of a difference at that point. But
look how the COVID treated some folks. The pandemic, they're like, I don't know where a year. People They lose track of time quickly. Is what I'm trying to say. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're living in one spot.
Yeah, yeah. Like I have a pretty good memory, and like in a weird way, I think that's always been because of when stuff is released. And when we got into this weird release schedule for things and things barely coming out at times and shit, like I think it kind of fucked up my sense of time in that way. Because as a child, you just start kind of tracking, oh, I remember that summer. You know what I mean? I know what came out that summer every single year.
Now you all know what it's like to be a freelance artist living in their room, never going outside. You're like, hey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Dell says plenty to glean from the Simpsons for the Simpsons fans. Yeah, and that's the whole thing is we don't know if there's actually like Simpsons influences in the show, or if it's just the fact that the premise relates to an episode and then the code spans out from there. Unless you've heard something that.
Well, the kids are the same age, right? They're a similar age to Bart and Lisa and the gang.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
true.
there could be something there.
Yeah. But I'm not expecting Jude Law to be going dough, and stuff like that all the time.
I got.
So when he does that in episode 1, then what, Jason? Like,
then we cracked it. We know exactly what it is. Michael Jackson's going to show up. Happy birthday, Lisa. It'd be a good time.
I would get space donuts.
Space donuts. Yeah, I want Space Smithers to be Gorian Shard's right hand man.
The Sith Sons. Faraway galaxies.
Dell says that's like Rey is overpowered because they have no idea how she might have been trained. Yeah, it's like that's the part where people decide that they're not going to go with the mystical because it's fun. And then, but it can be it can be a crutch, but it's like that moment in Star Wars or The Force Awakens is really meant to be a mystical moment that she is the chosen one, so to speak. And like, I think they're missing the storytelling that's going on at that point. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? Thank you for being a channel member. He says, I'd love flashbacks too, but a solid chunk of the fan base considers all flashbacks to be fan service. And Favreau and Filoni are already getting slammed for having like 3 Clone Wars characters. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have considered the flashbacks fan service for us. It would just been a way to inform the viewers of Bo-Katan's history. It would have been for new viewers and not for fans.
Yeah, they don't care about you fans. They got your asses, right? It's new viewers they care about.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't care.
They got you chumps. Right.
Well, like let's be honest. So me and Bestman, we were having this conversation the other day where I'm starting to think they need to start showing people dying in Order 66. Because at this moment, like if you have like thousands of Jedi in the galaxy and Order 66 happens, it's fair that a few hundred survived Order 66 in the aftermath. And they don't have to make it all the way to 20 years until Luke Skywalker, but that they survived the general attack, right? And so that makes sense. And those are the people's stories you would tell, and that's what's fun, right? That's what's fun about the era if you're going to play with it. But when you see like I don't know how many people die in Order 66. You got like the blue chick, you got like Plo Koon, you got the Conehead guy. Like, anyways, you see like maybe 8 guys die or something like that. 8 Jedi die or something in Order 66, and the implication it was thousands. But when we have like 8 people that are alive, and we're seeing their stories in video games, and we have Ezra Bridger out there and Kaden Jarrus, and
as well.
Yeah, it goes like on and on. It starts to go like, the visual storytelling says more people survived Order 66 than actually died. So
didn't the librarian survive Order 66?
She lives, and she's in the comic books for a little while.
Yeah.
She's in the comics for a short time. Yeah. It had people thinking that she was going to be in Andor, and I was like, I don't think so. But
Jason, I can elaborate.
Oh, George.
Yeah, it's called Order 66 because 66 people died. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
66 of Palpatine's most hated Jedis.
Right.
It's like a Looper video. The 66 Jedi Palpatine wants to see killed. this season.
It's very traumatic for children, though. That's what's very important.
Right.
66. Yeah. Chet was traumatically. We went to Fuddruckers afterward too.
Can Plo Koon have survived? Because we did see a Jedi Starfighter blow up, but maybe his ass just got blown off, and maybe now he has a robot ass.
Oh, that's actually what I wrote down on my yellow pad. He has a robot ass. Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna get around to it, but I did sell that idea to Disney. So, the white slavers.
It was in that on that yellow notepad that you handed over, and it was like one page, and you're all, this is the next 25 years of Star Wars. Follow my ideas.
Yeah. You got me. All right, I'm gonna watch Ted Lasso.
All right. See you later, George. Dale says they slapped Depa Balaba, or they showed Depa Balaba dying, sort of. Yeah, and she's Kanan Jarrus's Jedi Master, so it's like we know that she bites it and that he goes on. So there's like I'm fine with those like stories. I'm fine with that concept. Like I said, I think that it's fair to say 100 to 200 of them lived, like considering that thousands got killed, right? Like that's if we want to get overly logical about it, but it's like this analogy reminds me of Adawan. He's a guy who did a really good job updating the effects to the special editions of Star Wars. And there's a line in there where it says like 30 fighters are attacking the Death Star, 30 X-Wings or something. And he actually like shows 30 X-Wings. But when you see it, it looks like they have a fleet, because 30 in the visual language of just Hollywood or whatever, of film, then it looks like they had no problem taking that on. Like they, as much as they had enough. They had a lot of friends, but they say 30, but they show 6 or something like that in the actual release. And the reason is the visual language says something different than what the audio is. Like in actuality, all Adawan had to do was change the audio to say 6 fighters. That's all he had to say. That would have been the easy fix. But and I'm not knocking his work. He does really good work. It's an amazing thing that somebody did that at home, and it's cool.
Still working on it right now, Jason. He's not done. Like,
good. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if he's enjoying himself and people are enjoying his stuff, I say, hey,
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Good job. I say.
Yeah. Good job, anyone.
But, I mean, regardless of what Bestman Bulletin says about it,
Jason Subtle Shades.
No. Del says, yeah, see, like, and that's the whole thing, though, with the Order 66 stuff that's coming. Like, I see all these people like debating because of the trailer, like who's behind that door? Who's behind the door? Oh my God, who
Haley
is
Moto.
it? Is it?
It was Paley Moto. She saved the little guy the whole
Moto?
time, but she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember. She lost her memories.
No, is it Chewbacca? Yeah. Is it Chewbacca? The Chewbacca's? It's just like it's like
it's top knot, dude. It's the top knot.
Well, I mean, like it literally might not even be in the show. It might not even be important to it. And it's like, so I feel like fans have set that trailer has allowed fans to set themselves up to be let down. I think that's where this is going to go. Personally, I think it's going to be.
Do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
The theory we had.
Yeah. Drop that.
Yeah. So in the trailer, we see obviously like the Jedi and the door being like sliced open. You assume perhaps it's Anakin and the 501st, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it brings up a quote from Tamara Morrison from Celebration, where he said that he got to work with Carl Weathers. And we now know that Carl Weathers is directing this episode. So it brings up, is Tamara Morrison in this? But he's not Boba Fett. He's just a clone trooper or clone troopers. Like that's now seems like the most obvious guess, considering we now know Carl's doing this one on Wednesday called The Foundling.
Right.
So.
Right. And like a couple of things occurred to me. If that's the case, well, you would think they would be de-aging Morrison because, he's like those clones can't be as old as he is at that point. Like, it's like the way time works, it's impossible. But then we saw Hayden Christensen de-aged, and it looks like Hayden today. It didn't really, their de-aging did not do a damn thing. Luke Skywalker looks fucking great. he looks young because he's fake, but actual like Hayden and Ewan look their normal
Yeah, he's
ages.
40 years old when he's 16. It's ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous, dude.
And that, but yeah. It was, it was like, I don't know what they were thinking on that stuff. I don't know why they pulled back, but whatever. But anyways, but that's what makes me think that what if he's not even in those scenes? What if he's just doing the voices? What if working with Carl Weathers was doing ADR, which explains why he didn't need to be there, which explains why he was able to get on that
additional dialogue recording that's not a drug or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just so people know.
Yeah.
ADR.
Yeah. So
just doing ADR on set or something, like it's
right. Yeah. Most likely, I think that that's like somewhat likely, and like, you know, maybe, and this is obviously just speculation, but what if they go out there and maybe a clone's supposed to blow baby Yoda's head off, and he's like, I can't fucking shoot this thing, you know, and like literally like lets them go, because we know that some clones do overcome their programming. We know that the programming is, and with the inhibitor chip that they have in their brains, is highly subjective, how it was going to behave and how it was going to work, and it's sort of experimental technology. There's all kinds of reasons that they could get into how he's able to overcome the programming. So there's a possibility it's that. But also, like, if you just read fan speculation at this moment, that must be a good, what would you say, Bespin, 45-minute sequence that we're going to get for Order 66 at this point? It's like,
entire episode.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 60 seconds in total. You know what I mean? Or 3 minutes, maybe at the most. I mean, when you look at like Kenobi actually had real fucking hard reason to like do it, to like show that period where we have Reva going through it, how she gets started and how she becomes who she becomes. And this show right here is just like, how do you get out of the temple is what it might answer. And realistically, based off of the narrative that we have in the show right now, I don't really think it's important that we know, unless it becomes important. Unless he starts doing something, he starts remembering, like are we going to have like Grogu start having nightmares? I don't know if they would do that, but like there should be a ramification for getting his memories back, and so far we haven't seen any ramification whatsoever. And so, you know, what does it mean? But why do we need to know? Just because we're curious? Well, that has nothing to do with the actual dominant narrative of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So if they do it, it may be fan service. But if they do it with some intent to the narrative, then there has to be a ramification for it all. There has to be a reason that it matters. Is Grogu going to begin to I know I'm probably going way out on a limb with just a fucking dumb puppet character at the end of the day, but is Grogu going to start, like, you know, having second thoughts about not picking up that, like, doing that Jedi stuff? You know, and like we run into the interesting place today. Santa was talking to me and Meg and Baymax, and we were having a conversation about it, and he's like, well, you know, like at some point they got to put the helmet on him. Is that going to happen this season? And my take is no, because that kid who got the helmet's like 12, and he's about the equivalent of 5 to 6 years old at this moment, right? He's like 50. It's like 10 years is 1 year for him. He's about 50. He's about 5 years old right now. So I think we got another, like, another 3 seasons before he would be around 12 years old if we age up in real time with him. And so they have a lot of time to figure out what that means, and that you don't have to wear a helmet, or you do. I don't think it has to happen this season, but you might have the key, Mr. Bulletin.
What?
And that you have that video.
What?
Oh, yeah. No, I have a video of Bo-Katan fighting without her helmet.
Yeah. Fighting.
Yeah.
We think Axe Wolves, right?
Axe Wolves, yeah. And there's a lady in the background who looks sort of like Sasha Banks, or the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
so Bo doesn't keep wrong.
You know, when I was making that video for that dumb song, I was like going through all the Bo-Katan footage, trying to find like footage of her where she has her helmet off and she's not talking, which is actually harder than I thought it would be to find. And I went through the Sasha Banks stuff. She's fucking terrible. She's like slurping it like a fucking space noodles, like, and then she's like, "We must go through the South Corridor." If it was just like, you can't act for shit. She acts better in wrestling because I think it's more improvised than
I mean,
like.
we just had an episode full of like bad acting, so I'm not.
Yeah, we have a lot of Mandalorian has a lot of bad acting in it.
Yeah,
really
so it's fine.
Yeah.
Remember that, folks, in the comments when you complain that I'm the one who bitches about Star Wars. Just remember that, folks.
Hey, we're not bitching. We're just being we're being
Just
critical.
remember that. Remember that, Jason. The theory around here is that you love everything and I'm the hater. That's what I love about this.
I do love everything, but I can be critical of things that I love, which is why I don't have a girlfriend. Sorry. Did I get too dark?
Not real. Yeah.
Too real.
Crickets.
Too real.
Crickets.
A Star Wars podcast. No, but yeah, I kind of, like I said, I think that this next episode though is, I think everybody's going to say it's the greatest episode because it will probably have a flashback of anything at all, and that makes everybody always gets happy about flashbacks because they think it's flashing back to when the thing that they loved, and then it's going to be back to Mando and Grogu. But
Yeah,
the episode, do you think the episode is about Grogu? Do you put any? I don't remember. There was like a rumor that went around that wasn't from us. I don't know to put stock in it, but that Paz Vizsla's apprentice and Grogu were going to have a fight. Could that title of the foundling could it be using plurality to mean both of them? And could that rumor have some truth to it? I wonder. I don't know.
It could, but I don't expect like a lot of the flashback stuff in the episode.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it'll be minor. But also, some people are
guys.
weird.
Okay.
Okay.
Right,
see you, Rob.
Okay, but bye, Rob.
Some people, they think that if an episode is short, they're not getting what they deserve with an episode. This Mando episode is about 30 minutes long. And so some people will, I think, feel dissatisfied just given the length. In general, not just specifically with the Clone Wars flashbacks. My take is always, as long as it's well paced, it does not matter, as long as it suits the runtime.
Yeah.
It could be an hour long, it could be 30 minutes long, as long as it's paced well, that's all that matters.
Right.
So I don't know. Go from the footage we've seen in the trailers, that my theory at the moment is we're just going to see the sequences that's on the cult planet. They're on the mountains, they're flying around with the jetpacks. Paz and Din are being given like hammers of some kind, it looks like, in the trailers. So maybe that's leaning into, like maybe they've got to make something for their like champions of some kind, like for Grogu and for Paz Vizsla's son. But yeah, maybe we do see a kid fight, but but I also think it's a bit ridiculous that they're going to make Grogu fight this 12-year-old child. If Grogu's not allowed to use the Force, and we think he would in that aspect, then it seems unfair.
And what I suggested could be the case is maybe the fight's scheduled. Maybe they get into a little tussle, and they're like, "No, yeah," they're like, and then they say like tonight, or whatever, tomorrow, or on the first full moon, whatever, some Mando bullshit they come up with. And
it's weird, right?
Maybe IG-11's mech comes into play for that.
Yeah, it's weird, right? If Grogu does, because Grogu is supposed to kill Paz Vizsla or his son. Was the rumor?
I don't actually remember. I remember something about there being a fight with that and Paz Vizsla and the son, but I don't know if he's supposed to have killed him. Am I supposed to have killed him? Because that sounds not very Grogu like.
Yeah, we also got that thick boy running around on Navarro. Like, we have footage of him doing that. So we'll have to revisit that rumor. There's a lot of crap rumors that come out though, so unless we cover it or run it, like this, chances are it's not great.
Yeah, I know. I always just try not to be so, I always try to give everything a little bit of a fair thinking. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I don't want to be so like stuck up where I'm just like, well, if it didn't come, I don't want to be Joe Costa new. If it didn't come from Bespin Bulletin, then it doesn't exist.
I don't mean that it doesn't come from us. Like we aren't the ones who break it and report it, but in the sense of like, we both do a lot of research into how reputable a source is, somebody's track record is, which makes us want to pick up and run the articles, whether it's on my site or whether it's on the show. And currently, we haven't seen any true supporting evidence of the Paz Vizsla's son rumor
Right.
at this moment. So,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. It does kind of play like a little bit like lucky guesses, like things that kind of like were like just thrown out there, and then from the trailers or something, and then we see like evidence that makes it make with that perspective that makes it seem like it has some weight. But yeah, just like, and then that was the other thing. Was the other day we were talking, and someone mentioned like those titles. They thought that 2 of the titles ended up being correct of the rumor titles. They're not. Only one of the titles was correct, and not in the right order. So all of those titles that came out, all of that was bullshit too. Wanted to correct the record on that one for the show too. Those the leaked titles were never real. The only thing that's been real that's been leaked that we know of outside of us, for the most part, has been what do you call it? The runtimes.
Yeah.
From that source on Twitter. They have shit that's like correct.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like I'm gonna have to go because the school nurse is calling my ex. So that means I got a kid to go pick up. And my son, he's had a cough. No COVID, but he's had a cough, and they don't take too kindly to coughs in school, which is kind of annoying because the coughs tend to linger,
Yeah.
But pretty sure he's fine, but I'm pretty sure they're sending him home for that cough right now. But yeah, if you end up not doing anything and you want to get on some Fortnite in a bit, hit me up, because looks like I'll probably just going to be hanging out with the sick kid today in some way. And
no, I'll be free.
Yeah, and yeah, so tomorrow should be back at the normal time, not as early today as not as early tomorrow as I was today. So anyways, thanks everybody for being a channel member, for liking the video. Make sure you share the show. Anybody, as best you can. Subscribe to the shows on all the different platforms that you consume stuff on, because the show usually works as good as a podcast as it does anything else. And tomorrow, I hope to have Azatru on, if he's not busy, to talk about the Jedi Survivor trailer.
I haven't even seen that yet.
I was gonna play it for us right now, actually, and then have Azatru go in depth with it to me tomorrow. But looks like I have to go. So, but anyways, yeah. And then Mr. Bulletin, thanks for showing up. Everybody could go to bestmanbulletin.com. He does daily Star Wars news. Lately, I'm only doing my own scoops and then doing this show daily, but he does all of the news daily. And so go there if you have never been there, obviously. And if you do read his site, give him a coffee. I appreciate everybody who gave me some support today. All the people in the chat who are channel members, I appreciate it like a lot. And I appreciate the people who read the articles that I write on the site instead of just letting somebody steal them on Reddit, because that is garbage and it sucks. But all right, Mr. Bulletin, I'll catch you in a bit. I'll text you after I pick up the kid and see what's going on.
I can do it in a bit.
Bye
Bye,
guys. Bye everybody.